Hospitality. I'm your host,
Yeah.
Sean Walchef. This is a Cali BBQ Media production. We started this show back in 2017 with a belief that we were not alone as restaurant owners. We had this crazy idea that there were other people that believed in storytelling, that believed in technology, that believed in hospitality. And now here we are, 7 years later. We've built a community. We have so many awesome people that are connected to us. And today I get to talk to a new friend. But I feel like he's an old friend. His name is Joe Fontana, and he is the owner of Fry The Coop. If you're not following Fry The Coop on Instagram and TikTok, please stop what you're doing, pull out your phone, and follow them. The man is a master class. He's putting on a master class at how to tell stories in an unconventional way. I'm wearing a hat for those that are listening on audio that says "Be the show, not the commercial." And Joe is definitely a show. He is a walking showman. So, Joe, welcome.
Oh, honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
Let's
I'm here from talking from Chicago.
Chicago. We have a deep love for Chicago. We're getting ready, already doing planning, which is crazy to think, for this year's 2025 National Restaurant Association show. I've been on multiple calls today talking about what are we going to be doing, who are the brand partners that we're going to be doing it with, which podcasts are we doing, who are we interviewing. I plan on coming to Fry the Coop.
Yeah.
Which location should I, when we land in Chicago, which location should we go to first? What's the closest to the convention? What's the closest to the convention center?
Convention Center is probably our Westtown store, which is in the city,
Okay.
Chicago Avenue in Ashland. But if you're flying into O'Hare, which I assume you are, our Elmhurst store is one of our best
Okay.
culture. Team just kicks ass every day.
Give us high level. How many stores do you have? How long have you been in business? How many employees do you have?
Yeah, absolutely. We got 9 locations, about to build out our 10th store right now. The lease just started yesterday on baby number 10, which is
Sweet.
awesome. And that one's cool. It's going to be a quick flip. And then we have another store lined up for this year. But the other store is exciting because that's going to be a commissary. So
Okay.
we're going to have a 8,000 square foot commissary. And then right in front of it's going to be a 2,000 square foot storefront, which will be awesome, like 70 seats or something like that. And it's right off of like a main road and a big highway. And it's like in the square center of Chicagoland area. If you drew a circle around Chicago,
Awesome.
It's like geographically gonna be perfect. But we've been in business for over 7 years now, so we're pretty new. And had this idea about a chicken sandwich joint modeled after In-N-Out Burger. It's kind of like spicy chicken sandwiches, modeled after like a real simple menu, doing one thing really well. And I just knew from the beginning it was like a scalable thing. And so every penny we just save and we just put it back into the next restaurant. And so technically we've opened up 10 restaurants in 7 years, which is awesome.
That's amazing. Is it just you?
It's just me. I do have an investor who's a good friend of mine. He's our real estate arm of the business. And he kind of started out with the seed money. And now he's Mr. Super Lucky because he gets to collect some of the the rewards. But he does help out as far as real estate, getting us, we buy properties now and also lease, but setting up, really great leases. And then he's also helped with like the funding. But as far as operational goes, he doesn't work in the business. It's on me.
What was the biggest failure in any of the new location selections? Like, where did you fail?
Ooh, well, I really believe in failing forward, but
you wouldn't have 10 stores if you didn't.
Yeah, no,
sure.
100%. So this one location that we've opened up last year is about a year and a half ago now. It's in Lincoln Park, which is one of the prominent neighborhoods in Chicago. And like we're talking, even if you go back 100 years, Lincoln Park was like one of the like top neighborhoods. We are not only in the top neighborhood in Chicago, we're on the Main and Main intersection of this neighborhood, Lincoln Park, right across from DePaul University.
Oh, wow.
Like, I thought this location was going to be just printing money, just a hit,
Yes.
you name it, boom, we're going to crush it there. It is small. It's 1,000 square feet. So it's a smaller spot, only 3 booths there. But what I learned is that nobody in Lincoln Park knows who Fry the Coop is. Like, we're really well known in the suburbs, parts of the city, but there's so many good places to eat. And if you live in Lincoln Park, there's a good chance you work in the city, you live there, but you like stay in that bubble. You don't really venture out around the Chicagoland area. So I mean, that store does right now, a year and a half in, a week, what some of the stores do in one day,
Oh,
sales
wow.
wise. So we are
Really?
like failing horribly there. Yeah. And we borrowed some money to build that location. And we've paid it back since, but not with their money. We've paid it back with other stores chipping in on
Yep.
that. So far it is, I would say, a failure, but at the same time I learned a few things. And one of them was that we have to have a dining room where we go. And so, like, a lot of people come in, there's only 3 booths. So during lunch, they're packed, they're full. And then somebody walks in, they're like, oh, well, I'm going to go somewhere where I can eat, like sit down and eat. So
Hmm.
we're losing like lunch and dinner business to that. Um, and I also think like we need to not be in the city right now. Like for us, our new stores are all going to be outside of Chicago for a number of reasons. But you know, I think I need to pick our site selection a little better based on what I learned from Lincoln Park.
Let's talk about storytelling. As I mentioned, you have an amazing Instagram account, TikTok account. Bring me into the content creation process. Let's start with a story. One of your recent posts, you are letting customers bring in a competitor's food and you season it.
Well,
Can
we'll
you
season it up for you.
can you share the Raising Cane's customer coming in and you seasoning and fixing their
Well,
box?
and this Lincoln Park, that was at the Lincoln Park store. Speak of Lincoln Park, and Raising Cane's opens up right across the street from us. So we're like, oh my god, like you got to be kidding me, right? Like this
It's already
cheaper
slow.
chain. Yeah, it's already slow, and now we got Raising Cane's opening up, and literally they are like, they're from Louisiana, and I love the brand of Raising Cane's. The owner, Todd Graves, I think his name is,
Yep.
great guy. Like everything about them is like amazing, right? But I'm like, stay out of Chicago, like go be in Louisiana. But whatever. So they open up across the street. My social media girl and I, we film these videos together. We start out by writing a list of what we want to do for the day. We'll schedule maybe 4 or 5 hours together at a store, and we'll just kind of have a lot of fun. We're
Mhm.
laughing the whole time, right? So we're seeing Raising Cane's open, and she's like, "Oh man, we should, go do like a little spiff video." And the guy in New York who holds up the cardboard sign
Yep.
with the little, I forget whatever they call that guy. So we just thought it'd be really funny. Like, let's do a post where I'm holding up like, "Where's the spice?" Like,
Yeah.
whatever. And so she did a quick video on that. This was going back while they were still in construction, and that thing went viral right
Yep.
away. Eater Chicago picked up on it. They did a feature on us about it, about them opening up. That went viral, and literally like that article got like people were telling me like on my Yahoo like finance news or whatever, like that would be an article that like came up. I was like, what? So, anyways,
That's
we just kept
fantastic.
thinking like, we gotta, every time we're at Lincoln Park, we're like, let's just like poke it, Raising
Yep.
Cane's about something or other. And we're not trying to like bash them as a
Of
brand,
course not.
but it's like we want, like, if you're in Chicago, support your local small businesses. That's kind of the angle we're taking. Like, hey, they're great, whatever. But if you have to choose, and you're standing on the corner, like, do I support local? Do I support a chain? And
Mhm.
so that's kind of the theme. But yeah, so we just had a little joke about, let's go get some of their food, see what it looks like. We had some high school kids in the store, and so we thought it'd be funny. We're like, hey, for a free sandwich, would you want to be in our video? Kids like, yeah, sure. I'm in. We're like, all right, bring this up to the counter and say, hey, can you fix this for me? And so we just did a little spoof. Guy comes up to the counter. Hey, can you fix this? High school kid. Oh, no problem. This happens all the time. I gotcha. And we season up the Raising Cane's and then hand it back to him. And it was such a small portion. I was like laughing. I was like, it's the same price as ours, but like half the size of the portion. I was
Yep.
like, you might still be hungry when so we actually did it. We got Uber Eats for Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, and who else? I think that was it. Yeah. So we did more videos to come about, we're not just
Fantastic.
picking on Raising Cane's.
Well, so you film for 4 hours. Is that once a week? And how many videos do you make? If we
Yeah,
get
we
more,
try to do probably once every 2 weeks, and
once
we'll
every
do as
2 weeks.
many videos, as many as we can think of. So
Hmm.
one thing we do, I read a book called Start With Why a long time ago,
Yep.
Simon Sinek. really famous book. So I always love to like start with why. Like, why is it important? Because in the book it really goes into like people don't care what you do, they care why you do it. So I always try to like, what is the why behind our brand, who we are, why are we doing this? Like, let's explain why first. But then after that, it's always like, what can we make that's like funny? And our whole brand is about spreading happiness, delivering happiness to people. And so I always thought like in social media, if we can make videos that make people laugh and bring a smile to their face, like I'm all in. Like that's the same purpose
Yep.
for us. We're delivering happiness. It's just through social media. So I think it's fun to come up with videos. So what we do, we have a little file between me and the social media girl. Her name's Erin, and Aaron and I will just save any video that we think is like funny that
Yep.
we come across throughout our weeks. So we're constantly saving videos. Then when we meet up, we go through those videos together. Just then we kind of like create our own. So we'll get
Yep.
like inspired by a video, and then we just kind of like, how can we make this about chicken? How can we make this funny? And then from there, we're just constantly like spawning off on the ideas. And so we've gotten pretty good at it. We're like, we write them all down, and then we kind of think like, okay, what can we pull off? Because some of the videos you need like 6 people. And I'm like, well, we don't have 6 people. It's just me and her. So I'm like, all right, what can we do with just us?
Yeah.
And then it's really just, what can we knock out? And a lot of them, it's one takes. We have a video, God, that got like 500,000 views. I mean, it was a one take deal. It took us maybe 7 minutes. It was
Hmm.
just like, all right, I film you, you say the line, you film me, I say the line. We just flip the camera a couple times, and then, and it's not like, I don't want to say it's like throwing shit against the wall and seeing what
Yep.
sticks, but sometimes like we do some of these videos that I think are lights out. Even her editing is like
Yep.
amazing, and they get like no views. I'm like, how is that possible? That I'm like cracking up personally myself that it doesn't work. And then we have like a video that we didn't put that much effort into, and it goes viral.
Well,
So
go
yeah.
ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, it's a pretty simple formula, and we just try to knock out. She's busy, I'm busy, so it's like, how many can we do, and then go from there. Her editing, though, I feel like is key, because I don't think if you put it in my hands of me editing it, I wouldn't do as well.
Speaking of editing and videos that have gone viral on your page, is beef tallow? It's not having a breakout, it's having a comeback. Is that fair enough to say?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, we've been using beef tallow since the beginning, but right now, yeah, we just had a video go 4.3 million views right now on Instagram,
Yep.
which is insane. Like
Yes.
that's easier, I feel, to do on TikTok, but on Instagram to get over a million is like, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, we've been frying in beef tallow since the beginning. I found a podcast called uh, "McDonald's Broke My Heart" by Malcolm Gladwell.
Oh,
Go
really?
back and listen to it.
I
It's
will.
amazing, literally. It's his revisionist history, and he did this thing about McDonald's French fries and what happened and what led to the change. And it's like a half an hour podcast, super interesting, but it was great. And he talks about beef tallow fries, how much healthier it is for you. And I found this podcast like a couple months before we opened, so it was like pretty cool, perfect timing. And then we went all in on frying everything in beef tallow, and
That's
we've been doing
amazing.
it since the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of the process, and I talked to so many restaurant owners, and so excited to have you on the show, is a lot of people wouldn't think, hey, this is something that I believe in. I believe in beef tallow. I believe that it's healthier. I believe that it makes better food for us. But I also am going to put it on my social media page. Like business owners don't think about showing the process of like your cooking oil or the ingredients, yet you do it and you have millions of views, hundreds of thousands of views of literally you just explaining how you do the process.
Well, and you know what? We just thought it was a good idea, and then I had so many people reach out and be like, "That was so cool," because I didn't actually I've heard about beef tallow, but I don't know how it works and how does it go into a fryer. And so people were like, "That was fun to watch, like to learn, like that you got to melt it down and you got to smash it in there, and then all of a sudden it turns to this like liquid gold." But I'm on a mission just personally because it digests better when you eat food that's fried in beef tallow or even cooked in beef tallow. I believe literally for my body personally, it digests better, and it tastes better. So if I go to a restaurant, if they're frying in anything, I prefer it's beef tallow. And I've converted a couple of my friends and their restaurants now have switched over, and it's awesome because then you go there, you're getting a good quality product, and it's, you know, just going to taste delicious.
Well, I mean, showing versus telling. I can have a conversation with my management team and my leadership team and say like, hey, we keep hearing, in these articles, we hear on podcasts, but like, show me beef tallow. And I actually I sent our team your video
Oh,
because I'm like,
awesome.
I'm like, this is amazing. Like, this is how it's done. If, if we're actually going to consider switching over, this is, the proof that it's not only is it doable, but it's doing really well.
Yeah, 100%. People love it. And I have people now coming out that the seed oil thing has been, a little more on the forefront. Like people come and they're like, I'm coming here just because you're frying beef tallow. I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we have our new general manager, Dave. Shout out to Dave. He's been awesome talking about seed oils and all of the the harmful side of seed oils, but also the benefits of beef tallow. So this only re-emphasizes why having these conversations are important.
No doubt. Yeah. And like the storytelling part of it is awesome too. Cause it's like, it's a part
Yep.
of your brand. And what, for us, it's beef tallow, but for you, what is it that's a part of your brand? And then, you don't probably, like you were saying, you don't think about it, but if you're writing them down and then you're like, oh, there is a story here. Like, why did
Hmm.
we choose this over that? And like, that's a story right in itself, tell how you chose that bun or how you chose that meat purveyor, like whatever it is, there's a story there and those are fun to tell. And we started doing a weekly email, which I know a lot of people do. It's not,
Hmm.
unique, but it's cool because we'll take those videos,
I
those
love it.
emails and turn them into videos too. So we kind of like piggyback on like, hey, what's the theme this week? And then we'll go from there and kind of push it out.
That's really cool. Let's talk about community marketing branding. I know that you guys decked out a local Zamboni for your AHL Chicago Wolves team. I was very happy to see that. We partnered with the San Diego Gulls when they opened up their franchise down here in San Diego, so we know about minor league hockey. It was a great opportunity for us. But tell us your Chicago Wolves story.
Oh God, it's so awesome. Well, they were bugging us about this whole kit and caboodle, and we're a small business, right? We're in the
Yeah,
restaurant business. It's not like I'm Bill Gates over here with just cash everywhere. So they
yeah,
came and pitch us this like we want to like brand the stadium with like Fry
yeah.
the Coop,
You're
and it's
gonna
gonna
name
be
the
a million.
stadium?
Dude, I'm like, what are you talking about? So I kept telling the guy no because I'm like, I don't, man. I'm like, I love the Wolves, and like in Chicago too, the Chicago Wolves. We grew up with them. They're always fighting. Every it just turns
Yeah.
into like
Oh
a
yeah, for
brawl.
sure.
So they were
Yeah.
like the tough like team that was like cool to go to the games because you're going to see like 3 or 4 fights. It's just fun. And so finally we told him no, no, no. And then he just comes back and he's like, all right, what if we do just the Zamboni? I was like, why didn't you start with that? Like, what? Like, yes, like we would love to do a Zamboni. But even better yet, so one of my best friends who lives in California, actually, he moved out there. He's an artist, graphic designer, was in ad agencies for a while, but now he's on his own. And I just hit him up. I'm like, hey, Darren, could you do a Zamboni for me? And he's Czech, so he grew up playing hockey.
Oh,
He was
sweet.
like so thrilled. He was
It's
like,
like the
what, a
best project
Zamboni?
ever. It's like I
Dude,
was
yeah,
put
he's
on the
like,
earth for this project.
100%. Within literally, I'm not kidding you, 24 hours, one try, he just nailed it. He made the whole Zamboni. It's a chicken who's wearing a jersey, a Fry the Coop jersey. The chicken's missing a tooth, right? And
Amazing.
the puck is a hockey sandwich, or I'm sorry, the puck is a chicken sandwich, and it's like an ice, and it says Fry the Coop on it. And one try nailed it. We sent it over to the Wolves. They loved it. And then now it's on every game. And I get pictures from people, who go every week. I'm getting someone texting me who I know, like, what? You got a Zamboni? Get out of here. I didn't realize how much clout it was going to give us to get a Zamboni. But
Zamboni
I
is a
think,
big deal. It's a
dude,
big
and
deal.
I want to say it's $9,000 for the whole year. And then we signed up for 2 years. So it'll be
That's
18
awesome.
grand over 2 years, which is not like,
It's
not
not.
anything crazy.
Yeah.
And then they do Disney on Ice over here
Oh,
for like
sweet.
20 shows. And they use,
That's packed. That's a
yeah,
pack. That's a sold.
packed,
Those are sold out. Yeah.
sold out, 20 shows. And that's the Zamboni they use. So our Fry the Coop Zamboni is going to be rocking a little Disney on Ice.
That is amazing.
So yeah, a couple wins there.
Bring us into your digital hospitality tech stack. What do you?
All
What
right. So Toast has really helped us become keeping up with the big boys,
did you start with Toast when you opened?
I started with Toast. Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
I look, this is 2016. I looked at every POS system you can imagine. And Toast was so easy to use That was like caught my eye, you know, and this was now toast has changed completely since
For
then.
sure.
But literally, I like my thought was I could train someone on this in 5 minutes and they can know how to use it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved how toast, like I use Starbucks, you know, I don't know if this is true, but you know, you hear they spent $50 million creating an application, you know,
Yep.
for that where you can do online ordering and all this stuff. Well, toast, I feel like has like helped us as the small guy, like keep
Yep.
up with the Starbucks of the world who are spending that much money on, you know, and now it's really cool. Like they bought Extra Chef, so we started
Yep.
using Extra Chef. They've acquired different things over the time period, and then developed different software too. There's an application that they just rolled out. Like we can have your own
Toast.
app, branded
Yep.
app, the Toast app. Yeah. Then there's we're gonna do a text messaging program coming up. It's all through Toast. We do our email marketing through Toast, which is
Yep.
great. Because then you can actually see like who read your email and if they came in and actually like, you know, it'll tell you like a dollar amount, like, oh, your email caused like 30 grand in sales this past week.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. We have been using Ovation for a couple, almost 2 years now, year and a half. So shout out to our
How'd
boy
you find
Zach.
Zach? Yeah, how'd you find Zach?
So, Restaurant Unstoppable, I think he did the podcast there
Mm-hmm.
a couple years ago. So I heard about it, and I heard
Mm-hmm.
Eric Cacciatore, shout
Yep.
out to EC, talking about Ovation. But then
Yep.
I ran into Zach at a conference here in Chicago. It was like a QSR tech conference. He was sitting in front of me, and I could just see this beautiful hair flopping over. And I'm like, "Hey, what do you do?" And he's like, "Oh, I do Ovation." And then he like shows me in 2 seconds. I'm like, "Wait, I heard," like it was all coming back to me. I'm like, "I heard about this." And I
Yep.
was like, "Wait, I heard you on Restaurant Unstoppable." And then he showed me. And the second he showed me, I was like, "Oh, it's a no-brainer." We signed up
Yep.
like a week later, and our
For sure.
reviews have gone up like tenfold since then, you know, because
Awesome.
it's asking customers like review us, you know. Um, so Ovation's been pretty good. We use Yext as a listing platform, but I'm actually
Mm-hmm.
looking at Marquee right now. I'm doing
Yep.
doing the Marquee demo, which Yext and Marquee are pretty similar.
Marquee
But
is
I
way
think
better.
Marquee seems to be,
We're
yeah,
partners
way
with
better, right?
Marquee. Yeah, Marquee will take. They're the best. Yeah, for sure.
But Yext I'm getting for free right now. Somehow I
Yeah.
signed up a year and a half ago. They fired our sales rep and it's still working. No one's bothering us and we're not paying for it. So I was like,
Well,
told the
hopefully they're
guys
not
from Marquee,
watching.
I'm like, yeah, like I love the Marquee.
Yeah.
However, we are
Yeah.
getting this for free. Let me think. Text. I feel like everything we do has some type of
Some
technology component
right.
like to it, you know, which is crazy. We use 7 Shifts for
Okay.
all our scheduling.
Yep.
7 Shifts has been great. One thing I didn't even anticipate with 7 Shifts is that I can message everybody on my team,
Yep.
like PDF, pictures, updates, which is really cool. And then you can see who actually read it or not. And
Yep.
it goes so fast because everyone's checking their schedule all the time. So I used to try to use Snapchat because like all the kids were on
Oh,
Snapchat.
really?
We have a lot of high school kids who
You were running
you know work for us.
Snapchat messages?
Yeah, so I made everyone follow me on Snapchat, and then I would
Wow,
create these 1 minute videos, and I would just be like, "Hey guys, you know, here's the update we got going on. Like we got an
that's
LTO
amazing.
coming out. You know, I'd have to make them 1 minute, but then I'd ask
Yeah.
everybody. I would pop around. This is when we had maybe 3 or 4 stores, so I'd pop around. And I'd be like, "Hey, did you see the Snapchat?" And they're like, "Yeah, I saw it." I'm like, "Great, like, this is great. Like they're all seeing the video, you know."
That's amazing. You're the
But
first restaurant owner I know to execute Snapchat as a staff messaging platform.
I know because I'm like, I couldn't believe none of these high school kids were on Instagram. They weren't on
Yep.
Facebook. I'm like, what do you guys use? They're like Snapchat. I'm like, why? They're like, oh, the messages disappear. I'm like, great. So now
Great.
I gotta do this new thing to reach you
Yeah.
guys.
Oh
But
my God.
that worked for a while. But you know, 7 Shifts has been great for that. Gosh, I'm trying to think what else we use. I feel like we spend probably 2,000 a month per store on some type of technology. Pretty sure that's where we're
Yeah.
at. It
What do
might
you
be
guys
more than that, honestly.
let's go into your own personal tech stack. So are you iPhone or Android user?
I'm an iPhone. Yep.
What version? Do you upgrade all the time?
13? No, I
13?
don't. I rock it out for like
I
two
rock
or 3 years.
for as long as possible. I don't wait in line.
Yeah, until it like falls apart. I don't
Yeah.
know why I'm like so cheap about an iPhone. Like I'll buy the whatever the cheapest version is at the time.
Do you prefer taking
But
photos or videos?
both. I do both a lot. But like I'm ADHD like to the max, so I'm like, oh, I'll remember this, and I take the picture, and then I never look at that picture ever again.
How about
I need,
screenshots? Do you screenshot a lot of stuff?
oh, I screenshot constantly. Yeah, if I see something, yeah, and again, probably never get back to it. I'll put them in a folder. I don't know.
Which
Google,
go ahead.
well, I was gonna say on my iPhone, Google Business.
Yep.
Well, it's actually Google Maps, right? Is
Yep.
through now the
Google
Google
Maps.
Business
It's
profile.
technically Google Business Profile, but I don't know why they use Google Business Profile because it's not a separate app. You access it as a business owner through Google Maps. So
Yeah, it used
yeah,
to
it's like
be, and then they
it used
switched
to be,
it,
but
which
yeah,
I'm like, all right, no problem.
no problem.
So
Whatever. I can get to it. I get
yeah,
to it in my email. Yeah.
we use Google. We have Google Suites for our office. So we use our Google Drive, which is a shared like drive
Yep.
for everybody. So that's kind of nice too, because like now we're all kind of like in it. I had a bunch of people who came from either working with Microsoft or like Outlook, and they weren't so in tune to using Google. But I'm
Yep.
like, Excel's getting better, or Google Sheets
What are they trying?
now.
Were they trying to pitch Teams to you? Like Teams is better?
I'm like, I will throw myself off the roof right now. No Teams.
No Teams, no chance. No
Yeah,
Teams, no
literally.
chance.
We use Slack like crazy.
Okay.
Which Slack's awesome for our team. It's a
Well,
free too. I don't
Slack
know
is
how.
amazing. It's funny. I remember maybe early pandemic. I reached out to Slack and asked them, do you have any restaurant groups or any restaurant case studies that use Slack effectively? And not like the team from Slack talked to multiple people and they couldn't give me any restaurant owners. But now, 4 years later, I'm on the Toast Customer Advisory Board. I know a lot of very successful restaurant owners that use Slack for communication just because it's so easy to do.
Oh, it's great. And it's like, if I'm emailing you, only me and you are going to see that email and what we talked
Correct.
about. But if
Yep.
we Slack it, our whole team's going to see it, and then everyone's on
Yep.
the same page, which
Yep.
is great.
For sure.
So,
Apple Maps or Google Maps?
Apple Maps, but I actually do both, which is
Okay.
funny. But if I'm
Which one
driving around, Apple Maps
Really?
when
Why?
I'm driving. I don't know. I think it's just like me being a 42-year-old who's been using it for like 10 years, So I'm like the old guy who's like, I'm not changing. I like how it tells me,
Which how do you listen to music or podcasts?
I used to do what is it, the Apple podcast or whatever. But then when Joe Rogan switched over to Spotify, I was like,
Yep.
oh well, now I got to get Spotify. But I actually really do like Spotify now, so
Yeah,
I
me
go
too.
Spotify with everything, which is pretty nice.
And what social app do you use the most?
Probably Instagram, I would
Instagram.
say, yeah. But a TikTok too. Like I really enjoy the TikTok stuff, although it gets a little boring.
What about
sometimes. YouTube, I am getting into more, and I say that because we did some SEO stuff last year, or we were trying to increase our SEO, and somebody we had interviewed in San Diego actually to take on our SEO business,
Mm-hmm.
they mentioned about posting on YouTube, and they were like, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the
Correct.
world.
Yep.
So if you're not posting videos on YouTube, so now what I do once a week is I actually take our videos from TikTok and Instagram. I'll download them without the watermark, and then I upload them to our Google business profile. So I'll create like a post.
Awesome.
I just do this once a week. I do it at every store. So I post a video, and then I do YouTube Shorts. So I've been doing that for about a year, and I try to do it not for the views essentially. And I think we'll slowly get more into YouTube Shorts, but right now I'm just doing taglines like best chicken sandwich in Lincoln Park, Chicago, and it's like, it'll be like a video. It has nothing to do with that tagline. But my goal is I'm hoping that like, that'll just add to the searchability of like Fry the Coop, Lincoln Park, or wherever we're at,
I love it. If you have any advice for somebody that is a restaurant owner or wants to be a restaurant owner, what's your biggest lesson when people are like, hey, I want to open up a restaurant?
All right. So don't.
Don't.
No.
All right. Here we go. Don't do it.
It's all right. If you're going to open up a restaurant, just know for the first year to 18 months, you're going to be there all the time, grinding, sweating, getting all the systems, processes in place. And I think like when you do that work, and that's probably any business, not just a restaurant, right?
Yep.
But like once you can lay that foundation and set the culture and the tone of the business and everything, then you can kind of step out of working in the business and work on it. And things can get good from there, you know. But I think the biggest mistake that I made, that if I can go back, I would slap myself, is collect every source document. And when I say that, I mean invoices, receipts, everything, and get them into a platform, something that can
Yes.
consolidate and show you all the info. I just assumed that our vendors had our backs. And I assumed that, you know, if there's a problem, they'll just help out. I don't need, I would literally throw away all the invoices. I would just tear them up. Okay, great. Boom. I had everybody on auto pay, which was also really dumb.
Don't do
Like it
that.
just came out of the account, the money. Oh yeah, no problem. We'll just put it on auto pay.
Yeah.
Give us, drop off whatever you want at the back door and just take it out of my bank account.
It's
I
good
learned a
advice.
very hard lesson. So I think if I can go back, I would have saved us probably a year of trouble of just getting all our invoices, our source documents into one system. We use Extra Chef now for that, but I heard of a software called Shoebox. There's a bunch of them out there. Margin Edge. Um, God, I can't remember one we just learned about. But anyways, just find a software where you can get it
Yep.
all consolidated, get everything in there, and then, you know, tracking every line item to a GL in your accounting software. So either QuickBooks, or we're actually moving over to NetSuite now. So we finally
Okay.
like moved from QuickBooks, which is great for small businesses, but now that we're like intercompany invoicing and
Yep.
we have so many entities.
And you're opening up the commissary. Yep.
Yeah, so we got to move to the big boy software. So we're moving to NetSuite, but yeah. So advice: if you're opening up any business, a new restaurant, source documents, make sure you get that organized, consolidated, and into one
Yep.
system.
Awesome. Yeah, if you guys are watching this, we do a live show, so it's a chance for you to be a live guest on our Rising Tides Live. You can go to betheshow.media/rising tides. You can reach out to me on Instagram at Sean P. Welchef. I will add you to the invite. Joe, what's the best place for people to connect with you guys? Instagram, TikTok?
Just at Fry the Coop, at Fry the Coop, at Fry the Coop, all over the place, or just email me, joe@frythecoop.com. If I could help anybody, tell you about beef tallow, help you in any way, you know, I'm all in.
I appreciate that, Joe. And thank you guys for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Please check out our YouTube page. We've been working hard at building new content, going live on our Cali BBQ Media YouTube channel. But as always, stay curious, get involved, and don't be afraid to ask for help. We'll catch you guys next show. Peace. And boom.
Awesome. That was great.